my brother as well as Marshawn 100%. But this is one thing I have to say before you let me go. I want to say this. What's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people went to prison because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. Now they serving time because they falsely accused. I said, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people went to prison because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. Now they serving time because they falsely accused. And you think Travis a murder? That's because you don't know what happened. I'm his brother. Listen closely to the murders and rapping. Dominique is a liar. I'm gonna show her she capping, and y'all gonna see I see the reason of the devil Sebastian. I told my brother come outside. I guess she thought he was leaving. Then she went inside his phone and she found out he was cheating. But not the girl name was Colin, so she came up with a reason to hit his head with a bottle so she could try to get even. But let me tell you the story, how this problem got even bigger. Dominique lied. She lied and said that my brother hit her. Before she left the house, she broke this game and she took the liquor. Then she turned around and said her brothers ain't finna get you. We thought she was playing, thought she was bluffing us. Something figure 1 hour later, we getting jumped by some. That girl hurt my feelings, so Dominique is my little sister. Then she put a hit out on my family and tried to kill us. And these prosecutors know about this information.
Daryl,
it's messed up. That my brother in this situation facing life sentence, went to jail because of allegations, eating nasty food in his cell, probably losing patience.
I know there are a lot of emotions.
She hit him, she sent them demons to our mama house to try to come get him. If my brother go to prison, something wrong with the system. They try to kill us at our home and trying to play like the victims. I said, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people went to prison because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. Now they serving time because they falsely accused. I said, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Travis Rudolph got arrested because of false allegations, convicted of a crime, been exposed on the news. He was serving time because he was falsely accused. I opened up the door, jumped off some strangers. I got a gun pulled in my head and they were yelling with anger. This is a song about a girl that put my family in danger. And this is a song about some faggots that was trying to be gangster. Keyshawn, man to man, tell me, how do you feel?
Daryl, we gotta go soon. Unfortunately, I know.
Then before other people, y'all owe my mom an apology. Y'all jumped with 2 sons and came with guns on our property.
All right, Daryl, I know it's been very emotional, and we thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you and your family are relieved with that verdict. We'll be right back. You're watching Law and Crime.
Yo, let that man cook, man. He earned the right to do that. Travis earned the right to do that. His mother earned the right to do that. His entire family earned the right to go on live television and express themselves the way they want to express themselves. If they want to do that in song form, if they want to sing a country song with his cowboy hat, or if he wants to rap like he's DMX, he earned the right to do that. What's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many people going to jail over false allegations. And you hear what the man said when he said, you need to give my mama an apology. This is how I see it. If you're going to put my life in danger like that, and I'm in a state where I could defend myself legally with firearms, and I know I'm in the right. In other words, I didn't do anything for you to come back on me to wish me harm in any way or to take my life from this earth. So if you're gonna come and do this, come on my property where my mama lives, where my brothers live, where my children live, I'm gonna defend myself. And if that means someone is gonna lose their lives on the other side, and that's just what it has to be, since you're gonna come to me with this aggression. And the worst part about this story is the fact that the woman who sent those people over lied about what actually transpired. And this is why I want to get into this story here. Again, my name is Part of My Presence, PMP. This is my channel, Part of My Presence YouTube channel. This is what I want to talk about. I know it's a little bit unorthodox as far as this intro, but I really want to get into it because this story was nothing short of amazing, ridiculous, incredible, whatever word you want to use to pretty much say that this story is ridiculous, right? Now, here's the thing about Travis Rudolph, is the fact that this was a young man who went on a date with this woman a few times. He didn't even know the woman was married. She didn't say nothing. She was married. And in the trial, when she was cross-examined, she said, well, he never asked me if I was married. Why the fuck would he have to ask you if you're married when you're on a dating site and you're dating him and you're getting jealous over text messages in his phone when you have a whole husband? So many things wrong with this story, right? But the one thing about this is that it was caught on the Ring camera that she actually hit him. She was the aggressor. She's the one who started it. And he's just trying to defend himself and go to a safe place and get out of harm's way. And she decides to send text messages to her brother and his friends about shoot up the place. Why, as a woman, would you want to send out that kite to your brothers to go on a dummy mission, to crash out, to bring their cavalry, whatever you want to call it, to go to this man's house off of false pretense? Here's the weird thing about this. Let's say Travis didn't have a firearm, and they go to Travis's house and they shoot him. Now, the guy who you're dating is dead. Your brother is now on trial for murder. And it wouldn't have been self-defense because he came over there off a text message from you, instructions from you, and he went over to the property and he did what he did. That is premeditated murder. So even if the scenario turned out the way you wanted or the way you envisioned or the way, your heart desired for it to turn out, it still would have been bad for your family members, your brother. But in this case, you sent them on a dummy mission. You sent them to crash out. You gave them false information to, get their blood flowing in their veins, to pump that blood so that they're angered, so that they act on emotion from your emotion. And now they go looking for blood. And just so happens that Travis Rudolph has firearms. And Travis Rudolph is not a punk, and he had to do what he had to do to save his family, to protect his family. And one of the brothers either lost their lives or the friend of the brother lost his life. All because you made this false allegation that he hit her. And the weird thing about it is that she's not on trial for pretty much calling what I would call a hit. The brother's not on trial for going over there trying to assault the man. It's only Travis Rudolph that's on trial. I mean, what's wrong with this country? What's wrong with this nation? Too many brothers going to jail over false allegations. This is crazy. But what makes matters even worse, if you look at the bigger picture, there's a message here. Because they put this man on trial. They charged him. I believe they charged him with first-degree murder. They didn't charge him with manslaughter. They didn't charge him with second-degree murder. They charged him with first-degree murder, if I'm not mistaken. And you can look at that in two ways. You can look at that in a way as they overcharged him, knowing that it'll be too great of a burden to prove, which would inevitably let him off. And that was the whole point, because DAs will do that. They'll overcharge knowing that they can't get it so that people go scot-free. So that may have been the strategy. Or the other part to that is that they knew he was a high-profile person. He was a former NFL wide receiver, and they wanted to make a name off of him. And they don't like the idea that a black man is going out shooting people in self-defense and getting away with it. And this leads to the bigger discussion I want to talk about, is the fact that there are people who believe that the gun laws are not for them, that the Second Amendment is not for them, that they can't stand their ground when it comes to a confrontation. There are people who believe that they must be docile or turn the other cheek. But that's not the case. I think this is a very important case, because it shows people, especially black people, black men, that you can bear arms legally. You can defend your family, your property, your loved ones legally. You can gun someone down and not serve any time for it, because you will be vindicated, you will be exonerated, you'll be protected by the Second Amendment, and you should feel comfortable to exercise that right, if so need be. I mean, you never want to be in that position, but if it comes, you want to feel confident enough to know that you can do it. And this is what a lot of black people, I feel, in my opinion, feel that they can't do it. Well, I don't want to carry a firearm, but I might get pulled over. I might have an issue. No, if you are in a state where you're allowed to carry a firearm, then by all means do so. Just do it responsibly, of course. Make sure you're following the protocol. Don't be a dum-dum with it. But I think this shows that some laws are here to protect you. Some laws are here that you could use to your benefit, and you should. So I want to say big up to Travis Rudolph. It's sad that he had to go through this, right? Get arrested, be held up in jail, wait into trial, and have all these things happen. It was a sham of a case. It never should have been charged. It should have been dropped. But at least he was vindicated, and he's able to be home free with his family, be able to enjoy himself. I hope the woman gets charged for something. I hope the brother gets charged for something. And I hope there's no more interactions between the two families. I hope and I pray that this is a dead issue and it doesn't go any further, because this never should have happened. And to be honest with you, a woman like that, the way how she thinks, her thought process to get men into trouble, to send men on these dummy missions, that is a risky encounter that can end up in a situation where either you could end up putting your brother into harm's way. That type of thought process is evil, it's vindictive, and it's dangerous. And the weird thing about it is that you see a lot of women do that, where they'll send a man to do work knowing that the man may not come back home. Like you're setting them off pretty much to be executed almost. Or you send them off to do something dumb that will put his whole future in jeopardy. End up doing years behind it. And we noticed that for Ja Morant, it was his mother who called him to come and deal with the situation at Foot Locker. And we've seen so many other cases of black women calling either their son or their brother to come and handle something. But the problem is, when you're sending someone to come and handle something for you, do they know all the information? Do they know what you contributed to the conflict? Do they know that you were the instigator? No, they withhold that information. So now what happens? You're coming in hot, you're dealing with the guy who probably knows, hey, I'm going to have to deal with their brother. They might be strapped. You might end up in a situation where now you're in a shootout. You could lose your life. The guy you went to go see could lose his life, and you could end up in jail. And that woman will be scot-free. Probably going off to go with another man that ain't going to treat her right either. So does it all make sense? No, it doesn't. So stay away from women like that. Be careful on who you let into your house and into your life. If you're in a state where you could practice the Second Amendment and you could hold firearms, then please do so. And do it responsibly. And that's really all I need to say about the situation. Don't be afraid to exercise the Second Amendment. I think it's time that black men realize that if you're going to be in America, then feel entitled to the same benefits that other people feel entitled to as well. Because you're not a second-rate citizen, you are a first-rate citizen, and depending on who you speak to and what people want to say nowadays, keep in mind that you also built this country. So that's all I want to say about that situation. You let me know how you feel. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, next move, best move, part of my presence YouTube channel. Peace.